Oh, Miguel, with your duckable strings and your launch punishable steel pedal. I almost feel like we're about to take part in some sort of sacred ritual whenever there's a major update on the way for the game. You and I, my dear friends, we gather around Miguel's totem pole and we say our prayers, only to be horribly disappointed later. But I think we should give it one more shot, so these are my balance suggestions for Miguel in Season 4. And I think I want to start by getting the T-Rex memes out of the way. I don't know if you've heard, but Miguel has sort of shitty jab range. The 1-2 is really bad, and the 2-1, if you can believe it, is actually even worse. And that's a big problem, because these two strings make up all of your fast block punishment. It's so bad right now that you sometimes can't consistently punish moves that don't even have significant pushback, and it makes it very scary to try and take your turn with this character. It's also true that a one jab is an important tool for all kinds of scenarios, you know, gaining advantage, opening up offense, especially for a character like Miguel who wants to poke at the opponent a lot. So this is the most important change you could bring to this character. It's something that he's needed for as long as he's been in this version of the game, and I really hope they get around to it this time. We've been saying it for so long, and it's really, really important and needed. But let me have a quick drink here. I thought about a couple of other cool ways you could improve these strings, because the character is kind of low tier, so we have to give him some fun new stuff. And I was thinking about how 1-2-4 gives you access to Savage with +3 on block, which is kind of cool because it allows you to mix right here. And if this hits, you even get guaranteed follow-ups. But this string is actually kind of risky to use. For example, they can duck this final hit, and if they start doing that, then you have to mix it with this really slow mid that is interruptible, and they can crouch jab and stuff like that. It's kind of a risky string to use against a good opponent. It works well online, but it's very plastic in my opinion. But it is really cool to have access to your stance mix-up off of your jabs and your 10-frame block punisher. We have some strong characters in the game that do that right now. For example, Zafina with her 1-3 into Scarecrow. So what if they gave you the option to just go into Savage after 1-2? Because right now you have to do the 4 to be able to get Savage. You can't just do 1-2 Savage. But I think that would make perfect sense, because then you get +5 and you're able to mix right away from your stance, which is what you want to do with the character, because Miguel has all of his really great moves locked into Savage, right? You want to be in the stance, preferably with advantage, right? So I think Savage after 1-2 would make perfect sense. Another thing you could do is this 2-1 is such an awesome move. It's the double slap. It used to do 40 damage in Tekken Tag 2. It was so great. It was so powerful that some people actually used this as a combo filler just to get the damage. But now it has short range and is very iffy. I thought, what if you bring down the impact speed? Because this is 11 right now. What if you bring this down to 10 and make it his new dedicated 10-frame block punisher? If you think 27 damage is really high, I can sort of see that. I'd be fine with it being brought down, but I also think that 27 could be reasonable. Excuse me, especially for a character who's currently this weak. But then you also have an option of gaining some advantage here and going straight into Savage after punishing the opponent. I think that would be a great idea for Miguel, and it would give him more opportunities to mix and better, you know, fast moves, because he's slow or very short range at the moment. Everything fast is super short range. Everything long range is very, very slow to impact. So that's like an issue with the character, right? But the main thing is the range. No matter what you do to these strings, as long as you give them range on the first hit, that's the most important thing. And I'd be happy with the strings staying the way they are if they just get that. Another thing I want to talk about is a sort of quality of life thing, but it's the hitbox inconsistencies of down forward 1. For example, is there any reason my down forward 1 should just melt straight through Kazuya in this scenario? It doesn't even really visually make sense, right? But this down forward 1 is very inconsistent in combos, and it makes it awkward for some launchers. This is another example right here. And you can get this down forward 1 to work if you do like specific delays and sidesteps, but I don't really see why you should need to, because it just looks like this should hit right here. It makes it awkward. For example, this while standing 2-4 is a 14 frame to impact launcher, so it should be this standout, really fast, really powerful option for Miguel. But right now the combo he does is really quite awkward. You know, it's this thing. which is really low damage. It's really awkward looking, gives you 56 when you don't get the wall. It's not great in my opinion, but if you just got the downward one the way you're supposed to, you could, for example, open up this combo path, and then you would get north of 60 no problem, and it could really help him do some cool conversions. It's a minor thing, but this downward one should be like his most important and powerful move. It's not even one of the best downward ones in the game. It has kind of mediocre frame data, the range isn't great, and it has this problem of having way too narrow a hitbox. So I would at least want this downward one to be widened so that you can use it consistently to do cool conversions and combos with the character without worrying about it just going straight through the opponent. Minor thing, but it's a big quality of life thing for when you're converting combos and stuff like that. I think they should reverse the change on the Savage down back 3. I don't think Namco like reversing changes they've made. They had to go back on the Hell Sweep change, but there was massive outcry for that. This used to force crouch, which was such a great thing for the character because it allowed Savage to stay dangerous after Savage. You could do like Savage chains, and that's much more difficult, so that's one thing I would like to see. I don't think it will happen, but I'm just going to mention that I would like for that change to disappear. The next thing I want to talk about is whiff punishment, because Miguel kind of struggles in that department. He has really good movement, so he would, theoretically be good at creating whiff punishing opportunities, but his moves are kind of shitty. The hop kick is short range. This isn't great. It's very risky. It's very launch punishable. He doesn't really have one of those like fast, reliable options. Like for example, Zafina's down forward 3-4 is at 4-3. You know, the double kicks into the guaranteed down back 4-2 follow up for around 50 damage, 14 frames, super reliable. He doesn't have anything that comes near that. He does have. I mean, I talked to Sephi about this, like whiff punishment with the character. He uses this, which is kind of fast, 14 frames, but it is high. It isn't massive in terms of range. I don't think this is great. And the other thing you can use is Cyclone Slap, which is 17 frames to impact, so a little bit too slow in my opinion. Kind of iffy move for that as well. And again, it's like 35 damage. It's not a whole lot. But Miguel has a couple of not very useful strings and moves that he doesn't use that much. One that I think about a lot is 1+2, 1+2. So the thing that, he clasps his hands and does this double slam, and that's supposed to be like an iconic thing with Miguel because it's the final hit of his rage art, right? It's his rage drive. This is supposed to be a thing that Miguel does, but this string sees almost no usage. It's natural. It gives you 40 damage. And it has really great range, as you can see right here. So if this had its impact speed reduced, currently impacts at 19, which is way too slow. If this impacted around 15, you could use this for a really nice, fast whiff punisher. Get 40 damage, run up, apply your Oki, and it would just be a strong, great option for the character. I think it makes perfect sense. There's also a little bit of a delay on the string and counter hit properties on the second hit, so you can delay it and create counter hit launches, which is really cool. It's a great looking and fun string, but it just doesn't have a lot of application at the moment, and so maybe use that to fill this niche of fast, reliable, long range whiff punisher for the character. And you could have it because it's punishable right now at -14. I think it could stay -14, and that would make perfect sense in my opinion. So just a suggestion, but he needs something for better whiff punishment in my opinion. Now let's talk about new moves. Last time they gave him a new move, they gave him this, and I've been thinking about this move and how it kind of breaks my mind. It's so baffling because if you think about it, right, it's 27 frames to impact, which is really slow, comfortably within the seeable range for good players. And it's launch punishable, so it's essentially really a snake edge, right? But unlike a snake edge, it doesn't have high crush properties, and it doesn't launch the opponent on normal hit. So you took one of the weakest characters in the game who really needs help, and you gave him a new move, and you decided to give him a snake edge that doesn't even launch the opponent and doesn't have crouch or high crush properties. I mean, it's such a strange choice, but the thing is, right, this move feels amazing to do. It sounds and looks cool. it feels like swinging around a massive ball and chain. It's just a great feel. So Namco definitely know how to make Miguel feel and look and appear awesome and be fun to play. They just don't really seem to understand how to make him better. This is not the kind of move you want to put on a character who is struggling the way Miguel is. But my suggestion for a new move for the character in the new season, because we know that all characters are getting a new move, he needs a mid counter hit tool. This is supposed to be a counter hitting character. His best one, in my opinion, is the back one. It's great, it's fast, but it's very short range and high. You know, it's subject to T-Rex arms, but he doesn't really have anything good for a counter hit mid, and that's an important tool and something he could really benefit from, especially if you consider the fact that he has access to plus frames, you know, on block with upward 1, with back 3. So, you know, you're stepping around, you're doing your downward 1, and then, you know, you hit them with something mid and you get a counter hit launch. I think it would really round out the character and really help him. So if you want to add something new to him, I think that's what you want to do. Or something else to give him better whiff punishment. He would really benefit from that. Apart from the jabs, you know, his other punishment is really strong. He has this for 13, so in the fast punching move department, he needs some help, and in the whiff punishment department, he needs some help, and I think he needs a mid counter hit tool. And then we should just forget the fact that they added this move. You know, it does a lot of damage when you get the counter hit with it, but in all other scenarios, it's just really clunky and really risky. And the thing with Miguel, right, is like this is huge potential power for huge risk, and that is the entire problem with the character. You don't want him to get more high risk but high power moves, because that's his entire struggle. This is duckable, you know, everything is duckable and launch punishable if you're fast enough. So he needs something more calm, something safer, something more solid, where he doesn't have to put his entire life bar on the line just to be able to deal a little bit of damage. So there's a couple of quick suggestions. I think just a few of these changes could really improve the character standing right now, but he needs something, because I always want to play this character, but there's so many frustrations that come with it. But in Season 4, I really want to get back into him, and so I really hope they give him the attention he needs this time around. Let me know what you think. If you have any other ideas, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.